In this video, we're going to take a look at adding a tattoo to our dude character here. I would also like to point out that our dude is being used under the Flickr Creative Commons license, so thank you very much indeed. I will be putting details at the end of the video. Right, the first thing we need to do before we can even add a tattoo is to create a displacement map. Now we're going to use Command J, Control J to duplicate the background layer. To create a displacement map, it likes quite a bright image to work with, so we're going to use Command L, Control L, which brings up the levels dialog box. Just bring any sort of sliders in. If you've got any sort of light or dark tones or pixels missing, just bring those in. Come to the center slider, moving that across. That brightens the image up as we move it to the left hand side. So moving it into that area, that would be pretty good. Something like that. That's the sort of look we're after. I'm going to click OK to that. Something else a displacement map likes is a bit of blur. So we're going to go to Filter. We're going to drop down to Blur. We're going to come across to Gaussian Blur, and we're going to blur it by, 8 pixels will be fine. I'm going to click OK to that. The next thing we need to do is we need to go to File. We need to come down to Save As. I'm going to choose to put it on my desktop. I'm going to call it Map, so I'm just renaming this Map. It needs to be a Photoshop file, so from the list there, choose Photoshop file. There it is, and I'm just going to put in .psd just to make sure, and click Save. Through that goes. Nice one. We can now come to this layer. I can click on it. I can drag it into the bin. If you're using CS6, you can just press delete and that'll delete the layer as well. Now for the next stage, I need to make a selection around this area of the arm. I've got the hand tool selected, so I just need to press Command or Control. We can zoom in. Let's just lift it up, something like that. Coming over, we're going to pick up the magnetic lasso, which is in with the lasso tools. It's this one here. Coming in, clicking on the area of the arm there, I'm just going to come around and just clicking down a few times just to tell the sort of tonal range that I want. Round we come into that area, coming down and then to the bottom of the arm, once again just clicking down to say that's the colouring I want, the tones. Round we go and back up to the other side, and there it is till it joins up. When you get that little signal even, that means it's ready to join up, and we can now save this selection by going to Select, dropping down to Save Selection. You can give it a name if you want to, something like that, and just click OK. Right, using Command D, Control D to deselect. Using Command 0, Control 0, we'll put the image to fit on screen. The next thing we're going to do though is come across to our tattoo. We need to remove the black from the area of the background. To do that, I'm going to pick up the Wand tool. I've got the Add to Selection. Sample size is point sample, tolerance of 5. This is the only one that we've got checked out of all of these. All the others, contiguous, sample or layers, is unticked. Bringing our cursor down, coming to an area of black. I'm going to click down, through it goes. Made a nice selection right the way through there. To remove it from the background, I'm just going to use Command J, Control J. That's going to copy it and paste it in to a new layer. If we switch the background layer off, that's how our tattoo is now looking. Let's pick up the Move tool. I can just press V on the keyboard, which brings up the Move tool. We're going to click down. I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to bring it into our image, and I'm going to drop it in, and it's just asking us, saying it's sRGB as opposed to Adobe 1998. I'm just going to click OK to that. But there is our tattoo. Right. Using Command T, Control T, that's Edit, Free Transform, we can now swing this around. And if I drop this down into that area there, it's something like that I'm after. That should be pretty good in that position. Perhaps swinging it around a little bit more. Coming to the top corner, I'm going to press and hold down Shift, and I'm just going to reduce it down in size a little bit. Something like that there would be pretty good. Right, double click into Apply. The next thing we need to do is to apply this displacement map that we've made. Now we can do that by going to Filter, dropping down to Distort to Displace. Now, when this opens, all the default settings are in here. We got the horizontal scale of 10, we got the vertical scale of 10, stretch to fit, and we've got repeat pixel edge or repeat edge pixel even. These are all ticked as well. I'm just going to click OK. It then goes off and it says choose a displacement map. Well, there's my map.psd. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to click open. Watch what happens. You'll notice the way the tattoo, if I just use Command Z, Control Z, has bent its way around to follow the contours of the muscle. But there's more. You'll notice the way it's coming over the edge. Remember that selection we made? Well, if you go to your channels panel, if you haven't already got it open, if you go to window, drop down, there it is there, channels. If you come to that, there is our little selection that we made. It's been put in as a mask on the bottom. If you press Command or Control, look at the way your cursor changes. Click down, there's our selection. Come up back to your layers panel, coming across to layer 1 where our tattoo is. If we drop down and click on the layer mask, look at this, it's now wrapped our tattoo around the arm. Make sure that this framework here is now going to come over the tattoo, so click down on this part, so there's our framework, because if we just zoom in, let's just take a look at, you see the way that's finished off there really nicely. We're just going to go to filter, we're going to come to blur, we're going to go to Gaussian blur, and we're just going to blur it off, not by that amount there, but by something around about the 3 pixels probably. By just click down, take a look, you can see the difference that's making, something, just taking it back a little bit. Click OK to that, come into the opacity slider, just dropping the opacity down slightly as well into that area, and you can see that's done a really good job sort of blending it around the arm. I like the way that's looking, dropping down the opacity just a little bit further into that sort of detail there. Great stuff, using Command 0, Control 0, and there it is. There is applying a tattoo to our muscly dude. Go on, give it a try. Until the next time, it's happy imaging and take care.